What's going on? Happy hump day evening. Listen, I have been waiting to talk to you guys about this half victory for Diddy. Um, Earlier, he was not guilty for the big major crimes. You know the uh, you know the trafficking. I mean, he was only Diddy was denied bail. Let's also talk about that too, because he was denied bail after. Um, let me just go through. Because today was a half win. Let's just say that much. Um, you know, oh my gosh, I want to get to the exact. Hold on, I know where I put it. Please bear with me. I have been waiting to talk to you guys. Okay, here it is. So the United States versus Sean Combs, not guilty, count one, racketeering and conspiracy. Not guilty, count two, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Guilty on count three, though, transportation to engage in prostitution. Um, and then not guilty on count four, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. And guilty count five, transportation to engage in prostitution. So, oh, that sounds like count three. Well, they all look the same. Okay. Anyways, so I have a question I've been meaning to ask you guys, though. Okay. Um, Do you think, first of all, do you think he's going to walk through those doors? Do you think that it's going to be time served? You know, because the judge could have easily let him just go home while awaiting for, his sentencing. But what railroaded that was Cassandra, his ex girlfriend, attorney sending a letter saying, "Listen, if you release him while he awaits being, you know, to know what his fate is, um, he may harm Cassie. He may be a flight risk." That's what the prosecutors were trying to, tell the judge, because the judge, after these verdicts were read, he decided, you know what, I'm going to take my time on what I want to do next until that will give the defense, um, family members and friends to write their letters to why, excuse me, to why Diddy should be released while he awaits his fate. Um, I thought he was going to release him. I did. But I believe that he wanted to also honor the jurors that took 7 weeks to really come up with this verdict. And even though there was quite a few not guilties, right? The jurors still felt like, okay, but he is a risk. Um, you know, he provided the transportation to engage in prostitution. Um, and here's the sneaky thing about this. I was listening to an attorney today, on my favorite YouTube, which is Willie D. Shout out to Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. I forgot the attorney's name. I should have wrote it down. But he said what's tricky about this, this one, um, you could easily be looked upon as a trafficker, if I'm saying this right. But it's innocent, if you're just really being innocent and buying tickets to have a party, and you're buying tickets for these girls, it's like you're looked at automatically as a pimp or a person. I think that's what he was trying to say. Let me just put alleged if I got it wrong. And you may not even been trying to do that or force any type of essay at all. You just wanted to keep the party going and have all these girls come, and I order you tickets and fly you out to Miami. So it may not have been a transportation thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, so be careful what the attorney was saying. Be careful on how you want to have parties and then you buy tickets for people, especially women. That makes you look away. So that's what I got out of what he was saying. So I don't know, but I think the judge was like, okay, let me respect the jurors that came up with this, and at least allow him to sit and think about the consequences. That's what I'm assuming why he's making him stay there, because Diddy, he says, listen, I'll give you $1 million. I'm not a flight risk. I just want to go home to my family, you know. So, anyways, let me just read you a little bit of this. I'm just, let me also ask you this, you guys. Click the subscribe button. I have some notes here because I've been waiting to talk to you. Do you think that Diddy, at the beginning or at the middle of the Me Too movement, do you think that he would have the outcome? Please put in the comments if you think that man would have made it through the height of the Me Too movement, because I think that society and even the jury, are people tired of the Me Too movement? Because I feel like a lot of people abused it, and that's why it just suddenly kind of became stale, and nobody um, is really talking about it anymore. I don't think that he would have survived. That's my opinion. What do you think? Even with, the DOJ dropping the ball, you know, the feds dropping the ball in their case, they didn't do a good RICO case. They didn't do a good case in trying to prove RICO. Okay. They did not do a good case in doing that. Let's just be clear. They dropped the ball because really the whole out of these 7 weeks, you know what I got out of it? A person that really needs psychological help with sex addiction, a person that has a bad temper that needs to get therapy, a girlfriend that um, may have gotten abused, but was definitely a part of it and wanted to get money. But then at the same time, I'm I'm sad about her mom. That her mother who had to, pull money from her house just to pay him to not um, deliver videos, you know, regarding her daughter, ruining, his daughter's life by showing content that, would be inappropriate and would make her look, crazy. And it's almost like revenge corn. I can't say the word, but you know what I mean. So that part I'm just so disappointed on. But I believe that with count one, during if this was the height of the Me Too movement, which I believe started in 2018 allegedly, don't quote me, and then not guilty on count two with the sex trafficking, for sure. If it was around 2018, 19, even 20 or 21, it would have been all guilty. What do you guys think? I mean, even with, like I said, the feds, yeah. Um, and then also another question to think about: did the DOJ overestimate the case? Okay, I think they did. I think you know, but here's the thing that the good news: even if they decide, um, when uh, the judge goes over his consequences, so we all know that he won't be doing, life in prison. That's not going to happen. It will be like a, well, let me read, because I'm just all over the place because missed you guys today. I've been wanting to get in this, but okay. So this is where it stands, and I'm reading from CNN, one of my favorite news networks. So bail denied. Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail after a jury found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution this morning. The judge cited Combs' history of violence and past illegal conduct while explaining why he declined to release Combs as he awaits sentencing. While Combs was acquitted of the most serious charges, racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, he is still facing. Oh, really? Oh, I guess I got the information wrong, you guys. He would still face up to 20 years in prison, since the maximum sentence for each of the transportation counts is 10 years. There will be a hearing next week to address the scheduling of Combs' sentencing. I also allegedly heard that the defense wants to hurry up, and they're asking to expedite the sentencing so they'll know his fate. Prosecutors accused Combs of leading a criminal enterprise made up of some of the most of his closest employees, alleging they used threats and violence to force Cassie Ventura, another woman, Jane, to engage in the drug fueled sex acts with male escorts. Combs' lawyers argued the sex acts were consensual and merely preferences. And can I just say this on behalf of that? I saw an interview where one of the escorts was being interviewed, and he said that all this is about a jealous girlfriend. He says, every time I was in the room, and by the way, allegedly, Cassie ordered him. He said that Cassie ordered him, and she couldn't fully concentrate on the acts because she was so busy watching Diddy's phone to see if he was contacting any other girls. It was never no force, no violence. She was, calling him to order him, and it just was crazy. Like nothing I thought I would have heard. But it wasn't just him. Other people that took this stand that was involved with these parties all said that they were not coerced. They was not forced. And sometimes it was Cassie calling. It's just, I don't know. It's just so weird. Um, Defense attorney touts the jury for getting the situation right enough. Mark Agniflo. Am I saying it right? Sorry. Diddy's attorney touted the jury's work to reach today's verdict. One thing stands between all of us and the prison, and this that is a jury of 12 citizens, and we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word. They got the situation right, or certainly right enough, his attorney said. The jury acquitted Combs on sex trafficking charge and racketeering. I don't want to keep repeating that. Um, his attorney also said great victory. Um, and then in the court, Combs tells his family, I love you all, be strong. Following his bail hearing, Diddy Combs faced his family and told them, we're going to make it through this. And see, I feel bad for the children that, those two little twins that lost their mother, and the sons, and that part of it just sucks. It's horrible that they sat through all of that horrible evidence and text messages and people on the stand talking about in detail the gross details. And that's something that that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Well, I pray that it doesn't. I pray that the children would get extensive therapy, um, and and they would all go to family therapy. If he is acquitted, um, I pray that Diddy will change his life around. Um, no more partying. Focus on being a dad, a good girl dad. I think he also has another younger baby from a girlfriend. Concentrate, put all of your energy in being a better human being. He's not all innocent in this, but I just, and also another part of me, you know, I'm not going to even lie, because we have a person that is running this country that has had the same crimes that he gets to walk free and run the Oval. He gets to be the president of the free world. And allegedly, he's had some of these crimes, these counts. In fact, he has 44 plus counts, felony counts, and he can still roam free. So part of me is like, if he can roam free with 46 felonies, then I'm now, if Diddy was very violent, and we saw the video of that young lady. Now that part, I can't unsee that. If he's capable of doing that, he needs to go far away, so that he doesn't repeat that. And he should be ordered to really go to a really good rehabilitation, um, and extensive therapy. He really needs that. He really needs that. Today's split verdict is a disappointment, but the criminal charges are different than the civil claims we filed and have been fighting against Sean Combs. Oh, this is Don Richards, attorney, reacted to Sean's verdict after a jury found him guilty on 2 of the 5 charges. Um, we will continue aggressively fight our case until we obtain full and complete justice for Don, Lisa Bloom said in a statement. Wow. So, what do you think, you guys? You know, um, do you think he's going to even spend time, or will it be, timed served? Who knows at this point? All we can do is just pray for both parties. And I pray that Diddy has learned a valuable lesson about this. You know, after all of this, what would his life be like? Can he go back to running his companies? If I was him, I would just go away and not be in the limelight for a long while. If you want to do a memoir, do it later. But yeah, I would, if I just take your family, take your kids and build your own compound somewhere and live off the land. But just change your life, change it, change it. Even if most of those charges are capped, because I mean, let's be real. This whole thing started out as a witch hunt because he decided to go up against the big families. Now, when you bite the hand that feeds you and you tell them what you think that what you're going to do, and you're going to sue those, there are families that really run the world. They run the world. It's not a myth. It's not, they have been running the world for centuries. And when you go up against those families, they are going to make your life a living hell. And instead of taking his $1 billion and being quiet, because you were paid to be who you are, you chose the red pill versus the blue pill. And when you give your soul to those types of families, you take your money and be quiet. You don't have any more rights. You don't. And that's may sound unfair, but that's the life you choose. And he chose to go up against the big machine. And that's what happened. And now it's optically really what they set up made him look horrible, but they didn't fully win. So, Sean Diddy Combs, not that I matter to you, but first I would bring God in your life. And I'm sure I heard that you were on your knees in the courtroom praying. Continue that outside. Let that be your daily walk. And then introduce God to your kids. Introduce the Lord to your mom again. Everybody, go to church, Bible study. I mean, really pour your heart in there. The reason why I'm saying that, I'm doing that. I got off the good road at one point. I'm not saying I'm to the extreme of, but bad is bad. That's why I can't really um, turn my nose up at anybody. And so I'm sharing with you, Sean, um, what God has really been. That walk is going to be, let me tell you something. When you go back to the aftermath of the things that you may have committed or done, it's going to be a tough walk. But let me tell you something, the relationship between you and the Lord, oh God, it's the most beautiful thing. Even going through and looking at the mess that you may have done and that I've done. I'm looking back at it and he's walking with me and he says, look at all the destruction. Yes, I have forgiven you, daughter, but I need you to see what happened so you don't repeat it. And I'm praying for the same for you, no matter what the outcome is. We know you're not getting life from prison, so that's a good thing. But because of this second chance, I urge you to do what I'm doing. And I am, here's just one word, obedient now. Obedience. It's not going to be easy, but do the work and take accountability. I'm doing it. It's rough. It's rough, but it's okay. God has us and he has you. If you're watching and you're going through the same thing of redemption, redemption is bigger than what you think, and you're going to find out. But you're going to do fine. All right, everyone. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. Click that subscribe button and comment. Bye.